So hello, welcome back to the channel. Everyone and their gran has been linked to the Saudi League, but if the Saudi League and the money that they have, it happened 10 years ago, my thought process was, who would be the first player to just go over there? And it would be Hatem Ben Arfa, but what actually happened to him? Well, the now 36-year-old, when he was coming through at Lyon and the French underage team, he was such a highly rated player. He came through at the same time as Benzema, and he was arguably a better prospect than Benzema was. You know, a future Ballon D'or winner. So he came through the Lyon Youth Academy in the year 2004, and he was labelled a prodigy at 15 years old. Do you know how monumental that is and the weight of expectation that comes along with that? He made his debut that year in 2004 at the age of 17 and even made his Champions League debut that year as well, playing in a group stage game against Manchester United. Now, when someone is 17 and they're just coming through, it can be very hard to judge them. You can't really judge them on goals, assists, because they're still raw talent. And he was mainly known for his flair, his dribbling, and just overall brilliance that he could bring to the team. There was reported tension between Benzema and Ben Arfa, which they have both denied, but obviously it was reported at the time. And that didn't spell the end of his time at Lyon. It was more the fact that he got into a training ground scuffle with Stracqualacci. Now, who remembers him, Arsenal fans? Who? So, in 2008, he forced a move away from Lyon to Marseille. He even said that Lyon lacked class during the move and that they weren't even a good team. But don't worry, he settled in beautifully at Marseille because he picked up where he left off at Lyon and got into an argument with Djibril Cissé. Remember that former Liverpool and QPR player? Who could have foreseen Cissé and Ben Arfa getting into an argument?
Not me.
Cissé was then shipped off on a loan to Sunderland. What a horrible, horrible punishment for him there. But at the exact same time, Ben Arfa was playing regularly at Marseille, took the number 10 top, but surprise, surprise, he had another training ground argument.
Are you serious?
And this time, it was with his manager, Didier Deschamps. Despite the bus-ups that he had at Marseille and the troubled time there, they weren't really wanting him to leave. They just saw the potential in him, and they really just wanted to discipline him and make sure that he knew what was going on. But Ben Arfa wasn't having any of it, and in 2010, it had been rumoured that Newcastle were interested in him. Now, Marseille said, look, we are not selling him. But just like Lyon said they weren't selling him, Ben Arfa made it public and forced through a loan move to Newcastle. Now, Newcastle was probably where he played his best football, but it wasn't during that initial loan spell because after 4 games, he had a tackle from Nigel de Jong and he broke his fibia and tibia. So he was out of action pretty much after 4 games for the rest of the season. But this is where Ben Arfa really did play his best football and is known as the streets won't forget player because he had scored that brilliant solo goal against Bolton. Who could forget that, running past the entire defence from the halfway line, or just in his own half really, after a Cruyff turn, going past the odd player or two and slotting it into the back of the net. And he had numerous moments at Newcastle, and Newcastle's probably the club where he's the most beloved and still even beloved to this day as well. For all his brilliance at Newcastle, he was very injury prone at the time as well. So in 2014, he got shipped on loan to Hull. Or about halfway through the season, then manager of Hull, Steve Bruce, got asked, "Where is Ben Arfa, by the way?" And Steve Bruce responded, "I haven't got any idea." And that's because Ben Arfa just left without saying a word to anyone. So when he returned to Newcastle after his loan spell had expired, his contract was not renewed and he became a free agent. After that, Ben Arfa couldn't really stay in one place for more than 2 seasons. He went to Nice, then he went off to PSG, then he went off to Rennes, where he actually won a cup against PSG, so that was nice. After that, he went to Real Valladolid, sorry for the mispronunciation, but he even chose the number 3 top because he said it looked good, so, you know, for a winger, fair enough. His next move was a trip to Bordeaux, and can anyone guess what happened there?
We do not care.
He had a massive falling out with club captain Laurent Koscielny and manager Jean-Louis Gasset. Who could have seen that one coming? This also means that he fell out with both Arsenal centre-backs who played in the League Cup final against Birmingham in maybe one of the most embarrassing results ever. And to round off his football journey, currently because he is a free agent, he lastly played for Lille, where nothing eventful happened there.
I lied.
He was suspended from Lille because in April of 2022, he had another argument with his manager because he was criticising the players. Now, the manager then just said in all of his career, he had never seen anything like it. And that's kind of the story of Ben Arfa. Now, Ben Arfa was a star at underage level for the French national side. I mean, he made every single squad possible, and he even made his senior debut in 2007 at the age of 20. He got in the squad replacing an injured Louis Saha for the Euro 2008 qualifiers, but it didn't go without its controversy, as the manager at the time as well left out David Trezeguet, yes, a man who has played at the Euros and World Cup for France. He left him out in favour of Ben Arfa. But funnily enough, Ben Arfa could have actually played international football a year earlier, as he was given the opportunity to at the World Cup in 2006 for Tunisia. But like Sami Khedira, he turned that down. So with France in 2007, he came on in the 64th minute for Franck Ribéry and even got on the score sheet as well. Pretty good, all things considered, for a debut. But that was probably as good as it got for him in a France top, because he was omitted from the 2008 Euro squad. He was then also omitted from the 2010 World Cup squad for France, but that didn't go great anyway. But he finally got back into the French squad in 2012. But despite playing at Euro 2012, he was omitted from the 2014 World Cup squad, and he was on standby for Euro 2016. Obviously, that was in France as well. What an opportunity that would have been for him, but he didn't make the squad, and his France career was really disappointing. 15 games and 2 goals over an 8-year period where he never got a real run in the side. Obviously, a very talented French side, but for a guy touted as the next big thing, it's got a sting. From someone who has actually seen Ben Arfa play live in the flesh against Norwich back when he was at Newcastle, he was a player that was a joy to watch, and it is abundantly clear that he was special and he had a lot of real talent. I've touched on the fact that he was higher touted than Karim Benzema, but at the same time, Samir Nasri and Jeremy Menez were also coming through the French youth system, and they were all kind of the front four for France in the underage groups. And all of them have spoken about how Ben Arfa, he was clearly the best player out of all of them. So where does Ben Arfa's place in history lie? Well, his talent obviously cannot be questioned, but he is a massive hothead. He is very argumentative. He does not get on well with the majority of managers that he plays for. He argues a lot with his teammates, and he is potentially one of, if not the biggest, wasted potentials in football in the 21st century. I mean, maybe he argued with a lot of managers because a lot of them called him lazy, which he also was as well. So that's what happened to Ben Arfa. That's his career sort of in a nutshell. Now, let me know what you thought about that in the comments below. Do you think he is the biggest wasted potential in football in the 21st century? I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, if there's anyone else you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments below as well. And give a like, share around, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Thank you as well for 150 subscribers. That is very, very cool. And if we can reach 200 very soon, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching the video. Cheers.